Don't forget your audience. Don't forget where they were when they found your story. These people live in a tornado of news, opinion, social media, misinformation, disinformation. Somehow spinning around in the middle of all that, they found you and your great story. Now you've got them, you can't let them go. Now you can do that by telling stories in ways that iterate, breaking the story a little bit at a time so they feel like they're right there with you and they can never look away. You do that with social media to fill in the spaces between the stories, to show them how hard you're working. And you do it by thinking of folks who actually have let go of their rope and gone back into the tornado again. If you can grab hold of them once more, how do you catch them up? How do you make them feel like they're up to speed so they can keep following along? If you can do that, if you can grab that audience and hold them despite everything else, you've got more than an audience. Those people can be your eyes and ears. They can be your boots on the ground. They can be an enormous help. If you ask them for help, if they're that engaged, they'll find things you never would have found in a million years. So remember your audience. Remember the world they live in. And don't ever let them go. Congratulations to the class of 2020, and I'll see you out there.
I think that for anybody going into documentary film, it's really important that you like documentary films and that you enjoy doing what you do. I think that all filmmakers should see a lot of films, and that's really easy now. You can see films on your phone while you're waiting for the subway. I think also it's really important that you learn the equipment, that you learn how to edit, that you learn at least the beginnings of how to shoot. I think that the learning the equipment is a great skill, and can push you ahead. So I think that's really important.
Welcome, remarkable grads, to the world of professional journalism. But I have to say, if you've survived 2020 in graduate school working as a journalist, you've already done it. This may indeed have been the most challenging year of your life as a journalist. All of the innovation we had to practice, all of the new restrictions and strictures on our work, our approach of sources, everything we've done has been extremely challenging, and you guys have knocked it out of the park. My advice to you, which is my advice to myself, I have a sign up on the wall in my office which says process on one side and outcome on the other. And our job as journalists is to engage in the process, to be rigorous, fierce, full of integrity and hard, but not to worry about the outcome. It's too dark a walk to worry about what's this story going to do? Is it going to be published? What kind of change is it going to affect? Will people see it? Don't think about that. Be where your feet are, stay in the day, and report the hell out of what you're working on. Welcome, congratulations, and you are remarkable.
Congratulations, everyone. I hope you are proud of what you've achieved. When I was graduating from NYU several years ago, I felt really scared because the graduation would mean that tomorrow you won't be a student anymore. From tomorrow on, there wouldn't be any school, there wouldn't be any class, there wouldn't be a group of classmates that you can share your worries with, that you can complain to, that you can get inspired from. The biggest task would be to find a job, to pay the rent, and to survive. There will be moments of frustration, desperation, self-doubts, and fear. It is impossible to avoid rejection, because if you do, it only means that you are too cautious to try anything big. But what will keep you going is the clear idea of what you want to do. And if you keep trying and trying, eventually it will work. If you have the will, the passion, and the energy to fight for what you want, eventually you would find a way. And I look forward to seeing your work in the future.
Hi, this is Joe Richman of Radio Diaries, and first I want to say congratulations to all of you. And as far as advice to journalists starting out, this is going to sound strange. At Radio Diaries, we're known for kind of taking ourselves out of the story, and so my advice may sound strange, which is basically put yourself in the story. And I don't mean actually put yourself in the script or in the story. I mean, that's fine too. But what I mean is make sure that your curiosity and your intuition and your taste is represented in the story, your judgment, your discernment. I mean, that's the most important thing I think you learn and you need to develop as a journalist is your taste and your judgment and your intuition. And so practice that whenever you can. And then you have the added benefit of making a story that could only be done by you. Would only exist in this world in the way that you do it. And I think that that's great. And then bonus assignment, one more thing. I like to make sure in every story that there's one little thing that is kind of just for me. One quote, one scene, one little piece of writing that just I find amusing and fun and kind of makes me laugh or something like that. And I know it helps get you through, when the work is really hard. And also I think it's proof of that first thing I was talking about, which is evidence of this thing that is just, it's you in the story, it's your DNA. And I think that that's the most important thing you can do as a journalist. Also, thank you for being a journalist. We need you. We need you now more than ever. Good luck.
I'd like to congratulate you. We're very proud of you and what you've done during this difficult time. This has been an extremely difficult time to go to school. And God willing, you'll live long enough to tell your grandchildren about it. You lived through some extraordinary moments of American change. And you'll survive with wit and humor and talent that you have that you brought to this school and that you'll take into the world. I urge you to not let cynicism rule your work. Remember that skepticism is good, but cynicism is a killer to the creative process. I recall that when I was teaching over at the film school, and I had an exercise where I sent some of the students from the film program out to do an assignment in the street, and about a third of them said, "Why should we go out and do this silly assignment? We've seen all three of Kieslowski's great films, Blue, White, and Red, etc., etc." I gave that same assignment to NYU journalism students, and they pulled out their pens, and they said, "What time should we be back?" And therein lies the difference between the NYU journalism students and some of your colleagues in some of the other schools, not only at NYU, but elsewhere. When there is judgment, there is no journey. And when there is journey, there is content. And when there is content, you have a story. You came here with a story, and you'll leave here with a greater one. NYU journalism students are a special family, a special breed. And we are so proud of you that you've made it through the program with all the difficulties that you faced in New York and beyond. So thank you for coming. We look forward to hearing all the good things that you've done and will do in the future. God willing, we'll live long enough to see it. Good luck to you, and God bless you, and keep the faith.
Hey NYU, congratulations. This is an exciting time and probably a sort of scary time to be graduating into the world of journalism. If I had any advice for you, I would say don't be afraid to do the work and all that it entails. In my first job, I had to show up at 4 a.m. For a few years. You are likely going to be worth a lot more than you are paid in that first job. Hopefully it won't last very long. But most importantly, do whatever you need to do to stay inspired and remind yourself why you do this work. For me, it is to get enraged. So figure out what it is that motivates you. If you can, make that list today while you are celebrating, and remind yourself, because there will be times when it's hard, but we have one of the most exciting, important jobs, and it's so important right now as we work our way through recovering from this pandemic. There is a huge opportunity and such a need for you to do what you are going out in the world to do. So congratulations, thank you, and good luck.
Okay, so it's Sunday night, it's almost 11 o'clock, and even though I'm the boss of CBS News, work never stops. So my advice for the graduates of 2020 are this. You have to want to do this with every cell in your body. You have to be willing to give up holidays and personal time, but this is the best job in the entire world because you are responsible for keeping people informed. As we all know, democracy cannot survive without a free press. A free press takes on a lot of different characteristics. It's linear, it's digital, it's print, and the number of jobs out there now is fantastic. Here's the challenge, breaking through the cacophony. But if you have a unique view, you will be heard. But be prepared to work, and there is no real day off. So welcome to the swimming pool, and if anybody wants my job, give me a call.